Good morning, everyone. So, this is the class from Metro System and Engineering. After the previous class, we are discussing the Metro System and Engineering civil engineering works. That is the civil engineering part where constructions or different components of civil engineering parts of Metro System and Engineering we are discussing, and today we'll be discussing on various kinds of tracks of metro rail. Now, coming to the last part of this module of civil engineering work. Okay, so let the projector be on. Before that, let's discuss the previous lesson we have discussed in the last class, that is the different kinds of tracks. There are three kinds of tracks. Okay, the projector is on now. There are three kinds of tracks. One is the ballasted tracks, ballastless tracks, and third one is the embedded tracks. These things we have discussed in the last class. After this, in the ballasted track, I have told you that the ballast, that is the large size kind of stone chips, were there in between the tracks, in between the rails of the metro system. When these ballasts are provided in between the tracks, that is called ballasted tracks. When the in between the tracks ballasts are not used, those are called ballastless track. And when the tracks are embedded and no ballasts are there, only the ground surface is in between the tracks, that is called embedded tracks. So what are the characteristics and what is the requirement of ballast, what is the advantages and disadvantages, those things we have discussed in a gist in the previous class. Today we'll be discussing about the detailed discussion, or we'll be conducting the detailed discussion on the advantages and disadvantages of these three kinds of tracks. Let's go to the next slide, that is the performance of ballast. And what is the performance of ballast, or what is the requirement of ballast? That is, ballast is provided, ballast, that is the large size stone chip, that same kind of ballast you may see in the railway tracks also. Those ballasts are provided to provide the cushioning characteristics for the tracks. So if those ballasts are not there, then cushioning characteristics or cushion resiliency of the tracks is not there. That these resilient characteristics of the tracks is reduced, and if these ballasts are provided, then the cushioning characteristics will be there. So this kind of tracks have a resilient track bed with cushioning characteristics, which reduces transmission of vibration, because these ballasts just I should say take most of the vibration thing, that vibratory thing into it, and the total vibration due to the friction or movement of the wheels of the rail and friction between the rail and the coaches and the wheel of the rail, wheel on the rail, that movement and the friction will generate a high amount of vibration. These vibration will be reduced and taken by these cushioning characteristics of tracks. But in this case, the cost is lower for the construction of tracks, but as I have previously said that the maintenance cost is high because due to regular or the continuous vibration and friction between the two ballasts, individual ballasts, and the friction between the tracks and wheel to the ballast will be broken, and when the sizes of the ballast is reduced, the cushioning characteristics will also be reduced. So in this case, we have to change the ballast when certain size of the ballast is not there. So the maintenance cost for these ballasted tracks is very high, and dead load means the total load of the tracks and the ballast, that is obviously very high. If there is no ballast, there is no load, dead load for the ballast. So this kind of ballast will increase the dead load. So the total structure, what is the function of dead load? If we are constructing something, that means the after the track, below the track there will be some structure, no construction, or maybe that elevated structure or maybe underground structure. That structure which actually take the load of the tracks, that will be designed very much preciously because there is a high dead load because of the ballast, presence of ballast. So in this case dead load is high, that means higher section of the slab of the elevated structure or underground structure, higher section, higher cross section should be provided, and more maintenance should be provided. That means the total cost will be again increased. So this is the disadvantages of ballasted tracks. Coming to the power advantages and disadvantages of ballastless track. Now here the advantage of ballastless track is actually the ballastless tracks and ballastless tracks are the advantages and disadvantages are vice versa. So in this case, the ballastless tracks, in the ballastless tracks, the dead load is reduced because there is no ballast, so no weight of the ballast. So and there are dust nuisance free. In the previous section, that is the disadvantages of ballasted tracks. In that case, this dust nuisance should be there. The dust nuisance, that is the generation of heavy amount of dust. That is also one disadvantages for ballasted tracks. But in case of ballastless track, this dust nuisance, there is no ballast, that means there is no friction between the ballast and the wheel, and there is no dust generation. So dust nuisance, this kind of ballastless track is the dust nuisance free. Third advantage is the maintenance free. There is no maintenance for the ballast. And what is the disadvantage? That is the cost of ballastless tracks is very high. And in this case of ballastless tracks, that cushioning characteristics from the ballast is not there. That's why vibration is high. And if you want to provide some vibration free structure, then you have to provide some other mechanism, and for that mechanism cost will be, the expenses will be high in case of the ballastless tracks, because you cannot provide a high amount of vibration while movement of the metro. Now In case of embedded tracks, if you want to know about the disadvantages and advantages of embedded tracks, actually in the last class we have discussed about the embedded tracks, and embedded tracks are generally provided for the wash plants and the repairment section. And in that case, as the traveler, or I would say the passenger thing is not there, that's why the advantages and disadvantages of embedded tracks is not very much significant. And as only the repairment and the washing, in the washing purpose, when the coaches were taken to the repairment section or wash plants, in that case embedded tracks are provided. So in that case, advantages and disadvantages are not very much significant. And suitability of different types of tracks. The normal ballasted tracks is suitable for at-grade portion of main lines. At-grade station, what is at-grade station? Can you remember? The at-grade station is nothing but where only two levels of things, two levels of metro system. That is, one is the entry level, another is the concourse level and platform. That means entry level is at the side of the road, and another level is the concourse, that is the movement of the passengers, and the platform from where you can avail the metro. So this normal ballasted tracks are suitable for at-grade portion of main lines, and ballasted tracks are recommended for viaducts and tunnels. That means for the elevated metro system and underground metro system. Because in this case, elevated means that is much higher from the much higher elevation, at the higher elevation from the ground surface, or at the lower elevation from the ground surface. So in that case, ballasted lace tracks may be provided. And I have already just told you that the embedded tracks are recommended for workshops, repairment sections, or wash plant. That means for washing the coaches and repairing the coaches or the parts. In that case, the total bogies will be taken through the embedded tracks. Okay. In depots, ballasted tracks are recommended on cost consideration, because in case of ballasted tracks, I have told you that the cost of construction for the ballasted tracks is lower, but the maintenance cost is higher. But in the depots, as only the metro coaches are at the standby position, that means lesser movement. The passenger thing is not there. Depot means where the coaches are just parked. Depot, coach depot, metro depot. There, that coaches or the bogies are only parked, like a car parking, like the metro parking. That is the depot. So the depots, in the case of depot, as the movement is very much lesser, in that case, the maintenance, the friction between the ballast and the wheel, and between the ballast, that thing is much lower, and vibration thing is much lower. So in that case, the as the cost is much lower than the construction of ballasted track, in that case, in the depots, ballasted tracks are provided as the low cost construction of ballasted tracks. Now, the last part of this section is the characteristics or the diagram of ballasted kind of track. Let's see. So this is the ballasted track with different parts level. Here you can see this is the wheel of the metro rail. This is the wheel of the metro rail. This is the gap between the wheels. These are the rails. These are the rails. These are the fasteners, and these fasteners are used to fasten the rail to the sleeper. You know, you can see that the construction or the section or the composition components of this any kind of track is very much similar to the rail, but there are three kinds of tracks. That's why I am showing you the diagram what is the ballasted track. This ballasted track is very much similar to the railway tracks. I am coming to the ballasted tracks also. Okay, so these rails are fastened with the sleeper. This portion is the sleeper. After that, ballast. This portion is the ballast. I have just shown you the ballasting also. Rest of the portion is simple. I have given, but this kind of thing, this kind of ballast are there throughout this section. Throughout this section, this ballast thing is there. I have not shown that. Okay. So this is the ballast portion. Then rest of the portion is very much similar to the roadway section. You have studied the transportation engineering where you have studied the roadway section, that is the highway section. The similar thing is there. So this is not very much significant for the metro rail, but this portion is very much significant for the metro rail because this is the ballasted tracks. That's why ballast is there. That's why ballast is there. Again, and the difference between the ballasted tracks and ballastless track is that when this ballast portion is not there, that means after the formation level the sleeper is placed, after that the rail is fastened with the sleeper. That means this portion will be eliminated in case of ballastless track. I have not given that diagram, you may draw that also. So this portion will be eliminated in case of ballastless track. Okay, and embedded track is nothing but the sleeper will be embedded into the formation level, and only the rails are visible from the outside. So that will be the embedded tracks. Embedded tracks is not very much significant for the passenger purpose and other purpose, but because embedded tracks only are used for the repairment purpose. When bogies are taken to the depots and taken to the repairment plant or wash plant, only for that reason the embedded tracks are used. So this is the diagram for the cross section for the tracks. This is the ballasted tracks. When these ballasted portions are not there, not given, not provided, then only the sleeper is placed after the formation level, and the rails are fastened with the sleeper, and then the wheels will be there. Then that track will be the ballastless track, and this is the main difference and main significance for the tracks. Okay, so this is the thing I have just want to discuss with you about the tracks and all. In the next class, we'll be discussing the next chapter. Today, that is up to this, and now we may proceed for your placement preparedness session.